some of those crucial pivot moments where I'm like, no, it's too scary. I'm all on my own. I've got all this. They're going, you got to do it. We can give more money if you need. The three of us can put more in. It gave me more courage at the right times.
Welcome back to the Ecom Unleashed podcast. I've got a special guest on today. Welcome, Claire. How you going?
Oh, amazing. I'm so excited to be here, Ty. So good to see you.
Woo-hoo.
Missed your face, missed your energy.
Far out. I've missed you guys so much. I'll give everyone a quick background of who you are. Look, today I got an interview with an incredibly courageous woman. One of the most courageous women I know, and she's one of my business mentors that inspires me immensely, who I would put in the category of my business mum, Claire Mitchell. My business mum, not my real mum. No one replaces real mum.
No.
Awesome. And Claire is the founder of Eco Modern Essentials, a health and wellness essential oil brand that encourages a vibrant way of living, grounded in respect for nature, connection to our environment, and self-care. Eco turns over $10 million annually, and more importantly, has touched the lives of over 300,000 customers worldwide, with a staggering 54% return customer rate. That's crazy. That's nearly unheard of in all of e-commerce. 54% of customers coming back. That's well done. Well flippin' done.
Thanks, Ty. We're very proud.
Woohoo! Look, I got to personally experience the explosive growth of Eco from the inside, being their media buyer and digital strategist for over 4 years. If you followed me for any amount of time, I kind of allude to Eco every now and then. It's because I lived another life with these guys, and it was just so much fun. And I'm super happy to dig into Claire and the amazing little empire that you've built here. How you go? Woohoo!
You make us
All right.
so important.
Well, it is. You are really important in my life. And yeah, like I like to get real in this podcast because we're real. Realness helps people, right?
Yeah.
In business. Look, Claire, what do we need to know about you growing up that has made you the woman you are today?
Wow, I don't know. I keep secrets. I don't tell people I'm from Tasmania, but only because it's you. We'll let people know that's where I started, hence why I ended up on the Gold Coast. My background, everyone says you've always been into essential oils and wellness and, do you love the products and all that sort of stuff? And it's, well, no, that's not where I started. Where I come from, what I love and where my passion was, it was business. Love business, love to see how it grows, love building teams. I was so lucky. I worked in the early days, worked for some amazing entrepreneurs that were my mentors that really taught me, how to be courageous, how to put everything on the line for something you believed in. I'm a boring accountant. Like my background is, like I'm a qualified accountant. Everyone says, you're not an accountant. You don't seem the personality of an accountant. But I
can't even imagine you as an accountant. What's accountant version of Claire look like?
Well, I still really like it. And you know Nat very well, who works very closely in Eco, who's superstar in Eco. We love accounting talk. And I think accounting and business is a really great background to get into business. So to have that, the boring stuff, you can look at a boring P&L and understand it. The basics are really crucial, especially in an e-commerce world where every bit of data, every bit of analytics, the economy changes, you have to be onto that stuff to be pivoting and changing all the time. So I come from that sort of structured background, which I still love and I'm still very proud of, but it gave me the opportunity to work as a CFO, like a chief financial officer and finance director for some amazing, incredible entrepreneurs. So in the early day, like I did all my training, did my uni, loved the party life while I was working in an accounting firm, I learned all the stuff. But then, my highlights is when I first applied for a role over in Auckland and while I was living on the Gold Coast and got the job working for this crazy serial entrepreneur called Selwyn Pellet, who is very well, and you've met him, Ty, like he's
crazy,
clever, and
in a good way.
In a good way, but he's not, hasn't done the multiple degrees or all that. He's just passionate about business. That's where I got my passion for business. And I was fortunate where having the financial skills and the CFO, I was his 2IC, the second in charge, learning and watching him. I could not believe in the early days, like he had everything on the line, like his house is mortgaged, everything was about the team and growing. The first business I worked with him was a piece of technology out of University of Waikato, and he's the sales guy out there taking on the world. Like when you're in New Zealand, it's a little bit like that here in goalpost. You have to go somewhere else to sell or to learn or to do more. Like he was, selling this amazing technology out of the university all over the world, the US, the whole thing. But I remember the calls. It was, oh, how are we going to, we need this contract to pay wages for the next month. Everyone thinks
Wow.
success is like overnight. It was on so hard, and everything was about growing that team, building them with you, giving opportunity. Like one time he asked me to get on a plane from Auckland to go to the UK, and I had to go to London, do a presentation, one night presentation, day presentation, then I had to fly back the next day. So it was part of the process. Like this company we grew from nothing, the technology growing to, we listed it on AIM in the UK, so on the stock exchange. But because we're such a small team, pretending to be much bigger than we were, I needed to get over there to present with them as part of, the core team growing the business. But then I needed to rush back to be with the auditors, Pricewaterhouse at the time, to do all the technical stuff to make sure we were ready for the prospectus and all that sort of stuff. So it was a pretty wild ride. Learnt so much. But that's the reason why I wanted to do eco. It was, I saw how, what I loved growing the business, and how he was so brave and so smart, and how he brought everyone on the journey with him. And then I thought, oh, well, I want to do that, but I don't want to be the second in charge, and I don't want to be the chief financial officer with the auditors. I want to be that person up front. So it was, what could I do that, and then it wasn't just let's do essential oils. It was, I want to do business, and I love the Gold Coast. My lifestyle was here. I love the beach. Me. I love to be natural. I love to be energetic, and then it just sort of happened. And then I think the success of Eco has been about finding the right people along the way on the journey, and that's why, well, Ty, you were a key part of our journey when it was like, this is exciting. Business is exciting, but e-commerce is this thing that's growing so fast, and I don't know much about it, so I need clever people like you to say, well, what could we do? And then you get a really clever person like Nat. Like Nat's grown up with us at Eco. She came to us from New Zealand when she was 20. She's been with us 8 years now, and she's now, you see, she speaks all over Australia as e-commerce expert, and she grew up with us, Ty, and now she's,
I have to interview Natalie one day, don't
you
I?
have
Natalie.
to. She's so clever and so knowledgeable, and she's looked, as that person that is an expert. And so I'm very proud to have her not only on my team, but as somebody that, I feel like I've been part of her journey as well. Like you were part of Eco's journey. And I think that's what makes e-commerce fun and business fun, is growing as the economy changes, the industry changes, everything changes, with a team that you care, and you care about your customers, you care about being successful, but care about, feeding a lot of families.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love everything you just said there. Honestly, one of the great attributes that you have, Claire, is you are open and you're honest, and you're here to help, which is really cool about you. And I'm just grateful to have you in my world.
Thanks, Kai.
Ah, awesome. Hey, you kind of ignored my question a little bit. What was little Claire like? What was young Claire before accountant Claire?
Oh,
Claire at school? What kind of did you
tomboy.
have this? Were you a bit of a tomboy? Did you rally troops together? Were you with other people? Were they coming together already? Was there entrepreneurial kind of tendencies, or not really? It was just kind of
I think so. I think there was always that entrepreneurial tendencies, and it's interesting now because I don't think about the little Claire, but now my daughter, Chelsea, she's 23. She's actually in 11 sleeps, going off to Europe for 3 weeks, and we talk about the little Claire because she says, well, what were you like when, why did you do what you do? Why is she like she is? Like, why is she so brave? She's about to leave Australia, travel for 3 months, and then she asked me now is, why did you do what you did? You put everything, you worked all the time, she felt like she missed out on some stuff because I was working at the time, but now she looks at me like, I get it. Like, I know why you did it, and I'm so proud of you. So
mm,
it's nice to have a little Chelsea actually appreciate the Claire. So I think there was always an entrepreneur. I always wanted to do more. I've always cared about, and I think Chelsea's the same, cared about the teams and what they get out of it. But I think that's also my pivoting point was working with Selwyn Pellet, the entrepreneur, where I saw he didn't really care about his personal wealth or the, where he went. He cared about bringing the team with him. That was
Mm.
success to him. And it was always about sharing in the successes with his team.
How do you think that goes mixing that? You just said he didn't care so much about personal. Did he have family and kids and stuff? Or,
Yeah.
yeah? How was that dynamic?
I guess the thing is with the other generations, they look at it is in their world. My mum or my dad is busy working all the time. I'm not always their priority, and it's a reality of a choice. And what's
Mm.
nice, I guess, when I look at it now, is hard at the time because you do have to make a sacrifice. You sacrifice to grow yourself personally, grow your team, grow your business, to have financial security for you and your team. Something does have to give. But where it's really awesome is where they look at it and go, "Oh, I'm so proud of that you did that," and now they're motivated to succeed, whatever that looks like. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It's whether it's being
Mm.
independent, whether it's being smart, it's whether it's caring for the neighborhood or the community, it's giving back to a community. It's just, yeah, making a difference.
Raising kids around business, like I'm doing it now, little kids. It's all
Yeah,
fun. And I just remember someone said to me in the last month or so, I was stressing about, oh, how's my kid going to learn this? It was just some stupid thing when I started thinking through it. And my friend who's a bit older and a bit more experienced just said to me, mate, you don't have to say the right words to your kid. They catch it. They catch it from you. You just got to do it.
and they watch.
And that's, yeah, they just watch, and it's caught, not taught. So I just feel like it's really important to keep bring your kids along on the journey as well, right?
Yeah, I know. Chelsea talks now about, oh, do you remember the time where you bring the essential oils home and I had to label them? And we used to pay per hour cash for it. And she calls me, she's probably told me, slave
I love
labor.
this.
But
Yeah.
then she was so slow and so distracted by the TV and really didn't care. And I was like, you got to work harder than this. So I said, I'm not paying you by the hour. I'm paying you by productivity, by how many trays you label. And she's sort of getting it. It's like, oh, okay, I get it.
I love that. That's a great lesson. How do you pass on those lessons to your kids? Yeah,
Yeah.
as an accountant, business mum.
Yeah, that must have been pretty annoying as a mum, but yeah, she still loves me. We still talk every day.
Oh, that's awesome. Can you talk about that transition? So you've come from, so what was it? It was a tech company, like somewhat tech company. You've listed on a stock exchange somewhere. I'm assuming, like, I don't know how much you want to divulge, but I'm assuming you kind of benefited out of that monetarily,
Yeah.
out of that whole transaction. You earned a good amount of money. And then what happened with that money and the transition into eco, and how did that work?
Like, I suppose for me, so I love the business, love the journey, and I learned so much. Like, I'm very fortunate.
Were you financially set then?
No, no.
Would you class it? Okay,
I'd,
yeah,
I'd say I was poor on the bones of my
yeah.
ass. Like all of us, we work, week to week, and money at that stage. It was more experience. I wanted to leave the country. I wanted to learn from other people. So no, it was only because I was written. We all hope we get rewarded for the effort we put in and the impact you have. Doesn't always happen, but in my life and my experience and the people that have mentored me and I've worked for, I've had that happen for me. So worked very hard and we've had success and I've been rewarded. But in that business, I loved it, and I loved working, with the board and the tech side of it. But what I didn't like about it was tech is not tangible to me. Like, I like a product you touch. I
Hmm.
really wanted to know, like, I wanted to be able to talk to a customer that loved what we did and that you had an impact on their lives. I wanted a team of people that, I would like to have a champagne with at night or chat to. I wanted young, clever people that, I could give that same impact back. In that world, it was harder because they were, it's all engineering, it was all boys, it was all males, the product wasn't something you touched. You didn't see customers, like with eco, they talk about how amazing we are and the change on their life when their products arrives. Like, to me, that's everything. And we share that amongst the team. It's like, on the Slack, this is the product review. We've had this impact on this new product and we made their day, and that makes all our day. But that I didn't get that in the tech business. It was very cool and it grew, and yes, it listed, but then it became a big corporate, and
Yeah.
which is great, but it gets boring to me. Like a corporate, what happens is your role in a more entrepreneurial business, you do everything. You can pack a box to teach customer support, talk to a customer, to some really clever analytical stuff, amazing opportunities overseas. But in a big corporate, this is your role, and especially in a CFO role, like I could think of nothing
Yeah.
else. So I felt like I'd outgrown it and needed. I like chaos. And the girls laugh at me like when I'm in there. When it's you like it too. When there's
Problem
it's
solving,
I know, and
things
it's
coming
so
at
many
you.
orders, you can't get them out, and the truck's arriving, and we're not ready. When it's so
Yeah.
organized, it's like, where's the chaos? It means we're not challenging ourselves enough or doing enough. It means you're comfortable, and I think when you're comfortable, you're not growing.
Yeah, that's not a description I would put on you at all. Someone who likes being comfortable. You're always putting yourself out there. So,
Though, isn't it? I think that's why.
it definitely is. Don't get into e-commerce if you're not ready to take the punches in the face, basically, and get back up again.
Yeah.
So you didn't start Eco. You didn't start Eco from scratch. Hey, you went from, to my understanding, you bought a different business and kind of built Eco out of that. Can you tell us about that journey there?
Yeah, so what I thought in my not wisdom at the time, so it was, yes, I made a little bit of money when we listed in the UK, and I was desperate to get back from New Zealand and come back to Queensland, come back to the Gold Coast. Chelsea was younger, and I just wanted to be around her more and wanted to do something more tangible. But I wasn't confident enough, I don't think, to say, okay, let's start something like essential oils. As I said, it wasn't everything. Me, what I'm good at and love is business. So there was an opportunity to buy a business, which I did. Not a massive, like it was very small, and the brand it was more a skincare brand, which at the time, because I love skincare, love fashion, all that stuff, I thought this is cool, this will be easy, but not really. It was a failure. So I bought the company, the brand, which very quickly realized this is not a sustainable business, and you saw the process. So we basically, I guess I used it as a platform to look at what suppliers, how the infrastructure worked, and then quickly learn you've really got to start from scratch. So I realized the growth at the time and the niche was more around the essential oils, which I thought was really interesting, and went from there. And I think our journey for Eco wasn't so much here's my business plan and where we're going to go. It was what do customers want? What's happening in the world of e-commerce? What's happening in? I traveled the world doing expo floors for the business. That's where I learned. It's like skincare. You can't compete with this company like L'Oreal. You're just not going to be able to do it in Australia.
When I came to the business, you guys were in a transition kind of period. It was like B2B. You were very much B2B. And my understanding of Eco was like Claire was at expos trying to get big deals overseas, and it was China. Were you in China or no? It was Dubai or
both.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah, I went everywhere.
And you were well known for it. You're getting press and coverage, but I'm imagining on the inside you would have been like, yeah, this is great, but it's really
hard. Man.
It's just an ego-y kind of thing because it's really hard. I need to do something else.
Yeah, I was literally hustling, trying to work out where do we fit, and it's stressful because you've got a whole team you've got to pay and you've got to grow. And it was definitely like skincare. We could see quite early on it was never going to work. It was, margins were hard, competition was fierce, and it wasn't that fun. So when we realized and started listening to what our customers were saying, what they did, it was like, well, this is actually quite cool. And there's big competitors, as you know. There's the billion-dollar competitors that we all know, the MLMs in the essential.
We don't mention those guys.
We don't talk about them, but man, they've done a great job educating the world and the customers. And what was missing is no one was doing it in ecom, which is when I met you, which is we could do this. It was almost like start up again, rebrand, and that's when Eco, was founded, and it was based on that. And it's evolved a lot over the years, but it is based on the journey of what the customers are telling us. And it was when it clicked for me for business to be successful. If you're not talking to your customers, you can't listen to a retailer or a buyer to say, and that's what was happening overseas, this is what I want. you're never going to excel or grow or get better or do more unless you're listening to your customers. And e-commerce has opened that up for all of us.
How do you listen to your customers? So the early days, I'm sure it would have been a certain way, but now I'm guessing it's differently. How you are listening to your customers?
Well, your idea, I must say, was the Facebook family, the group. It's still the best way for us to communicate with our customers. It's huge, like the amount of following we have on our private group, but how honest they are. And I think it's also great because of who we are, Eco. We're very honest. We like to talk to our customers. We share everything. That forum is still the best way to be communicating. We have all the tools. We've got all the latest e-commerce software. It's very important, your loyalty programs, with your Instagram, your TikTok, all of that stuff, which we're still learning on TikTok. We're not awesome, but we'll work it out eventually. But still, our Facebook group is where our customers want to talk about. They feel safe. In our world, what's important is still community. They want to feel part of something. And they've always felt that with us, our team, and with Eco as a brand, what we're trying to do for them. They feel like they have a say. So, yeah, that's how we still talk.
Yeah. I still remember I came up with the idea and I was just pitching it to you. I'm like, okay, I think there's a Facebook group and it's going to be a community that's going to take over the world somehow. I think there could be something there.
I know, you'd tell me that. I'm going, okay, let's do it. And we'd say, remember, it was Liz that was working with us at the time. Liz would be going, no more, I've got enough. No more.
I love it. That is a trait that you have. It's the let's do it, which is scary. This is an interesting thing. So me personally, I'm just going to jump on me for a sec because it's all about me.
Yeah,
like I am entrepreneurial, right? In my entrepreneurial tendencies, I want to run my own thing. And I'm similar to you. I'm like, I want to be my own boss or whatever. But the crazy thing is you attracted me to this business because you basically said yes to every idea that I had. Which was just like, okay, like I can keep having ideas and they get done. And there was just so much freedom in that. And I just want to encourage everyone, if you ever find like someone who is kind of entrepreneurial and I don't know, you think they might leave or they're this like superstar that may have come in, you like to call people superstars in the business.
Yeah.
Give them that freedom. I don't know how you did it. You had some kind of courage or maybe it's because you saw yourself in like it happened to you. Is that where it kind of came from with past businesses?
I think because I was enabled like that, and then I saw how amazing it can be. And I say that to the team all the time. It doesn't matter if you make a mistake or it's not the best idea. The worst thing you can do is not make a decision and move forward. I see so many people just procrastinate and don't everything's. And you'd think accounting background I would be like that, but I'm sort of the opposite. And I love that about Eco and I love that about our team. I love that when we were working with you as well, we missed that. It's like, this is a great idea, let's just do it. And it's not always the best approach, or we might have executed not the best, but we get there in the end. But some of the best moves or plans are just from a chat. And I guess I miss that, when COVID hit and everyone's not together. We used to always get together in person. You take the time, get in a car, because you're always sunny coast. We'd meet at Brisbane. We'd talk to the agencies, look at them in the eye, ask them, what's what. You don't just look at emails and reports. You actually have to feel it. And I think our best ideas, and they still are now that we're all more connected in person, are just from talking and chatting. George just saw this on the weekend. We go, man, that's exciting. That could be amazing for us. And it happens because the team that we have around us cares. So they care about the business and the customers. So they're living it 24 hours. Their whole life, what they see is they're going, how can I make a difference?
I think it was really important. I don't know if this was just something that you always valued or I don't know, you just saw in past businesses or where you got it from, but you did have a strategic meeting like almost once a month or maybe even more often than that, because I wasn't in person sometimes, but at least once a month there was some kind of a strategy meeting. And it was funny because it was almost like there was no agenda to it. It was like, okay, the agenda, everyone knows what the business goals are, everyone knows where we're going, let's just have a meeting and come with stuff. And we just nut out some ideas and there would just be magic that comes out of it. It was like you didn't even plan it, but there would be some kind of magic that comes out and we're like, okay, well, there's the magic. Let's build the business let's add some more magic to the business.
And that's where it all comes from. It's from the connection and it's the people, and then it's connection with your team, connection with your customers. And yeah, you can never underestimate that. You can have the smartest person to put a strategy in writing isolated in another room and it all sounds very good, but unless you're passionate and you talk and you bounce and you respect other people, listen to them. Some people might have been there 2 minutes, but they've got something to add. They see stuff, they know stuff.
One thing, you've kind of alluded to it already, the word pivot is ingrained in Claire. Like she can somehow like just wiggle her way through and create something else out of nothing. And also you talked about failures before and being okay to fail, having the courage to fail and just keep pivoting and everything like that. Can you talk about that a little bit more and why that is like such an integral part as to how Eco grew?
I think that it's been good for us too. Well, I think because I'm so old, so I've seen a lot of stuff happen. So the economy
Yep.
changes, the world
Hey,
changes.
you're not old.
Yeah, well,
You're wise.
well,
You're seasoned.
yeah, that's a
You've
nice
lived
way to.
3 seasons, 5, probably 10 seasons.
Yeah,
I
I've
don't
seen
know.
a few, like now, things are tough at the moment, for example, and we've got some newbies on the team and they're like scared and they're going, oh my God, everything's on the news about interest rates. And I'm going, it's okay. We just pivot, we change. Like it's an opportunity for us because we are smaller, we're nimble, we can make changes and survive. But we've survived some hard stuff. God, I remember when
Can
COVID,
you talk about those hard things? A
oh, when
few hard
COVID hit,
things?
everyone sees COVID for some com- companies as grow and it's amazing. And it was good for us, in the end. But when that hit, we didn't know whether we could open our doors. I had a wages bill. I knew all their families. I was like, what am I going to do? This is terrifying, very isolated, everything shutting down, not knowing what that meant. I remember calling, I got two shareholders in New Zealand at the time saying, what are we going to do? These people need security. And we had a chat, and Nat was in the meeting, and Nat and I said to them, we need to give them security and tell them they're still going to get paid. If they can't get to work, you still got to pay them. They need to. These are the core of our business. So then we had support from the board. We knew we had to pivot and change. We didn't know what or how. You're literally looking at each day. So we knew we could say to the team, whatever we ask you to do, do. We will keep paying you. Don't be scared. Your family's going to be fine. So we did that, and then Nat and I are like, okay, what are the rules? We're reading the rules. Are we essential? Can we still keep doing it? And then we looked at it all, and Nat's looking at New Zealand.
You're essential oils.
We
You have to
are
be
essential, and we supplied a pharmacy. So they said, yes, you can keep trading. So that was a big tick. But then it was like, oh God, can we get supply? Can we still get the oils? Can we do the manufacturing? Then it's like talking to, our manufacturer, making sure, we're clever in the way that we have our supply chain set up. And they were like, don't worry, you're a priority. And that's key in any business, as your relationship. So if you've always looked after each other, when things go hard, you will be the priority. So we had that. And then it was like, okay, we can't do, export's gone. This part of the business is gone. What can we do? Put everything into our direct to consumer. And that's what we did.
And crushed
And we
throughout that period.
we did crush it. And it was terrifying. You remember, it was all just as we were in that smaller warehouse and we couldn't fit people in. And we had to have space between everybody. We had pallets in the warehouse and we needed to put new systems in because we were running out of stock and everybody's stressed. The solution is having a Bubbles Friday where everybody can have a drink and celebrate.
Have you got bubbles right now?
No, I haven't. I
Bubbles right
thought
now.
I'd wait till.
I really thought they were coming.
Yeah, well, might be.
But Claire does know how to party. That's actually something I was going to say. Is Claire does know how to party, and also you're talking about you've got this relationship with your suppliers. She parties with her suppliers. She gets the agencies that they work with. Like they go out and have fun and have drinks, and they build this really like good bond with all of these relationships. And I'm sure like in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, how much did this thing cost? What is the return on investment that comes back? It's not even tangible.
Yeah, and fun is important. And that's something I learned from Selwyn again. But he said if it's not win-win, like I watched him negotiate some stuff in the early days, and it's all about, I've seen it since other people where everything's about winning every last cent or saving here or whatever. But what I watched with him, he said, if they're not winning as a business and as a person and you're not, it doesn't work. So you give a bit, win-win, happy, celebrate. It doesn't matter if you could have got an extra 10%. If you have a shit of a day and you don't get to celebrate after, what's the point? And that's why part of our philosophy has always been do business with people you like, so you're having fun all the time. So it's not just your employees, your suppliers, we're always loyal to all of our suppliers. You might be able to get a cheaper price for 2 shipments, but I don't care about that. Be loyal and like them and have an impact on their life as well.
I want to talk about team culture a little bit. You guys have the best team culture on the planet, hands down. I really do believe that. Do you have any advice for... I've had these little nuanced kind of conversations about it over the years, like driving around in a car and stuff. You've even talked about protecting that, making sure that you've had to move people on because they were ruining team culture.
Yeah.
Can you talk about those kind of, I guess, things that you may have done to protect that team culture and how you keep it going so well?
Yeah, that's a good point, because you can look and everything's all rosy all the time, but you can hire badly, and it doesn't even mean you're hiring badly. They may just not fit, or the business might have grown or gone in a different direction that doesn't suit what their personal values are. I guess the biggest lesson that I've learned and what I try and show for the team is don't procrastinate. If it's not working for either, have a conversation. So I know we've all in a world of legal and all these rules, I probably don't do things all the right way, but I'm always about being open and honest about it. Have a conversation. You don't look happy. So-and-so is not happy. What are we going to do about it? And then it's, letting them exit if they need to exit in a way that they're not losing. You don't make them feel shit about it. It didn't work, but don't let it drag on for months and months. And the team laugh, and they don't laugh, they're terrified sometimes, and I tease them about it when they're saying, oh, Claire wants to talk to you, and you close the doors, and it's like, oh God, and then they leave and the laptop's gone, and I'm going, they're okay. And and they might come back and help you in another way. It's okay to have a hard conversation, but you're right, Ty, it's protecting what is right for eco, and you have to always look at that. And sometimes it's not even what works for me personally. It's okay, personally I may not like that, but this is the right thing for the team.
Something I love about you as well is you're definitely not slow to have a hard conversation, but you also are ready to renegotiate things as well. So I've been on the receiving end of this because I've done a deal with you and I'm like, oh yeah, this is a good deal for me, but I know it's got to be a win-win at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But you basically would call up and go, hey, it's kind of not a win-win here anymore, and you're not afraid to have those conversations. So it's a win. You're winning. We're not quite.
Now we need to balance it again.
Yeah, let's rebalance it. And I personally, I'm totally okay with that. But what I want to encourage people who are listening to this is it's actually okay to call up suppliers, to be real with them. It's okay to renegotiate, even with staff and things like that. Like you still have the bubbles on Friday. You still have all those great things that, keep the fun in the business. But at the end of the day, it's a business. Yeah. And it's important to have those hard conversations or the business won't exist anymore.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if you're not making money, you can't pay them, and then we don't have anything. So it's how do we protect that? So protect everyone's having fun, the customers are happy. And I think that's the point. If the customers are happy, then you have a viable business. So if you start saying, oh, that customer's annoying and I don't like that, well, at the end of the day, they pay our wages.
Totally.
Yeah.
Your team has such a good attitude. I'll just describe it to you. You walk into, so Claire talked about there's a smaller warehouse. Okay, now they have a Bunnings-sized warehouse where they just, all day is just pumping out oil. It's ridiculous, like essential oils everywhere. Insane. You walk in, everyone's pumped. There's like dancing. It looks like people are getting filmed on TikTok, but they're not. They're just packing orders, basically.
Yeah.
You go upstairs and it's this beautiful, I've never seen you so pedantic about anything other than how the space needs to look in the office. It's the only thing I think I got in trouble for whenever I went there is I put a bag on a desk instead of in the cupboard where the bag cupboard happens.
And you brought paper once and you wanted to write notes.
Our
agency
paper.
did that too not long ago, and I teased him. He came in and he had this big notepad. He was trying to be serious. I said, you can't bring that in here. We're paperless. He's going, what? I said, hey, look around you. No one's allowed paper. You just...
I love it. And The culture is incredible. I love it. That's just something I just want to encourage people. Like, your people are everything. That's something I really learned from Claire. People are everything. Your team is everything, and protect it. Make sure that, you do everything you possibly can to protect it. I wanted to touch base on some interesting topics. So raising money. Do you advise people to raise money in their e-commerce business? You did it at the very start with the people that helped you in the past business, right? The tech company.
Yeah.
Would you do that differently, or was that integral to kind of get things off the ground and, I guess, run the race of eco?
It's a good question. Like, I look back at it and it's hard. When you take money from people, there's a different responsibility. So I think you got to be careful when you need the money and what that means. I was lucky because the people that I raised money with, they did trust me and knew, who I was, and that was okay. But I don't know. It's a tough one. You give up shareholding, and what does that mean? It also can restrict you as you grow. So I raised some money in the early days. I had to. Sorry, these are my doggies.
Hello, doggos. Oh, we have to show them your dogs.
Hey. Teddy, they're protecting us from the...
This is Teddy and Bear.
You too.
Look at their view. Look at Teddy and Bear get to live with this. How awesome is that?
They're normally in the factory too. You boys don't sit down. We've got to have a serious conversation.
This is part of the eco culture as well. You walk in there and you get licked to death.
With the dogs.
In their office. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so raising money's tough. I had no choice. When I realised skincare wasn't going to be a thing and I needed to be travelling.
Is that when you did it?
Yeah.
So it was like so you'd already bought a business and then you're like, I need to pivot, and that's when
I'm going to need some money, and I've got employees, and I've got a mortgage, and I really want to give it a go, and it's going to take time. So I did, and Selwyn was one of the investors, and another really crucial investor from New Zealand. So I think it's all personal and depending on your business, but understand it comes with huge responsibilities. So it means you can't run it as a family business. It can be less entrepreneurial in that you have to report to a board, we have to have board meetings, you're accountable. Sort of suited my personality and my background coming from the accounting side, and they were such smart business people. So I was lucky. And yes, you're accountable, but they would come over, we'd do quarterly board meetings. For a smaller organisation at the time, we were acting like big grown-ups. And it was good because we were very structured, and everything that we did was, all the things you need to later in life when you do your exits was very clean. And what I loved is these clever business people would come over, and what we're all like in the business we're working on. It's in so much detail every day. You get out of it and you're looking at it with other people saying, but what about this? What about, they're not critical, but actually giving some really good advice. And I think they made me more courageous. So the money helped, yes, but I think what was great about that was the responsibility. By taking shareholders' money, you have to be accountable to them and you have to listen to them. And they're the reason I got that new warehouse. They said earlier on, you can't keep doing this. I'm going, I don't want to invest in it. It's too soon. And they said, if you wait, it's going to be a problem. So yeah, some of those crucial, those pivot moments where I'm like, no, it's too scary, I'm all on my own, I've got all this. They're going, you got to do it. We can give more money if you need. The three of us can put more in. It gave me more courage at the right times. So I don't regret it.
Wow.
But if you do take money, it is a game changer. And it's definitely a game changer when you want your future exit. You've got everybody's different scenarios you've got to take into account.
Yeah, we'll jump on that in a second. The exit idea over there. Yeah, I do talk to a few friends who own e-commerce businesses who are kind of in that middle stage of like, do I take money? Do I not take money? Would you say it's really important to have a strategic, I guess, you don't just want to take money. You want to take something else with that.
They call it dumb money, don't they? Don't take dumb money because money is only going to be finite. If you need it and you're a while away from that next phase, it's strategic money. So it's the right partners to come in and help you with that.
Yeah, awesome. Let's talk about Eco's rapid growth. Okay, so I consider it pretty rapid, and you guys absolutely crushed it with the time that I was there. I think when I first jumped on, it was like the biggest month that you had done was like $20,000 for the month online. That was online. It wasn't in the overseas stuff. It was just online. And then, when I left, I left a little while ago. So the numbers have kind of changed, and I'm not actually fully up with everything that Eco's doing now. But we were significantly over $1 million a month. And I just think that is so cool. Like from $20,000 to $1 million. And I remember having these conversations with you about this. Like one day we're going to hit $1 million, or I think we can get to the stage where we hit $1 million in a month. And we were just like fantasizing about it. It was so good. Hey, and then it became the norm, right? We were disappointed if that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, do you remember the first and the second of every month? I'm going, Ty, what's happening? Everything's dropped off for a week. And he's going,
I'm like, this
e-commerce.
It's just e-commerce. I can't do anything about it. People aren't buying stuff.
Yeah, I'm going, oh, it makes me sad. It's horrible the first week of every month. Yeah, in January.
I definitely felt the weight. Yeah. Even though Claire wasn't behind me, I felt the Claire behind me. He's, what is going on?
And January, February, I hated it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. That's e-commerce, right?
It is, and it
ebbs and flows of e-commerce.
Hard, yeah.
Can we talk about some of the big significant things that got us from 20,000 to $1 million?
It was a lot. I think it was getting the team together. You were definitely a pivotal point coming on, getting in, the ads, what we were doing, the digital strategies, focusing down in those areas. It was investing in that. We had to spend money in somebody that you trusted. So we trusted you and had some agencies on board. And again, that in my analytical background, managing it to the hour, to the day, to take the lessons. I think also some innovation, product development was some really crucial times for us, like actually investing in some incredible new essential oils, kits, diffusers, categories, all of that sort of stuff. And again, that was listening to the customer to understand. COVID, definitely the volume of everyone that needed immunity. It was lucky, like everyone can say it was strategic and clever, but we'd actually, thanks to the amazing Georgia, developed the immunity kit before we even knew about COVID. And then we had all this stock, and then all of a sudden the biggest search word is immunity. And we had these amazing products just sold out. I think some of it's luck. But I'm a believer, some stuff are really hard and we get hit really hard, and then sometimes things are good. I think it's all balance.
Yeah, like every entrepreneur you talk to has done anything and has had any form of success talks about luck, but the truth is they put themselves in that position. So it's I'm a believer of you can strike luck, but you can actually put yourself in a spot where there's more luck. It's actually like you plan to be where the luckiness is going to be.
I know. I looked at that when the COVID hit, and it was like, it could have been a really shit time for us because we were overstocked. Like we'd invested heavily in stock, had all of it, and then everyone's complaining they had no stock, so then they couldn't sell. I'm like, well, this is awesome. We've got so much stock, and we're essential. We can ship, and we'd invested. I think what we did really well too, which helped us really capitalize on the growth, was invest in the systems. So, you remember we had all these orders and someone would say, oh, how many orders left to ship? Oh, there's that pile of paper down there. We're going, and I remember someone filed it under someone. We lost it, and then the orders didn't go. We're going, what happened? They found the stack of paper. So what we did pretty early on for a small business is invested in the paperless. We believe in no paper, and we wanted all the systems, from order all the way through the journey, and that really streamlined everything. So when the volumes hit, we were capable. Like our record amount of orders through the warehouse, 2,500 orders in one day. Back in those
Crazy
days, 200 was a lot and everyone was very tired. But now the investing in the technology and the systems, I think that really differentiated us against our competitors.
It's so funny. Like you talk about all these struggles in the warehouse and everything like that. Whereas I'm just like, let's just up the spend today by another 10-15%, see what happens. Oh, yep. I'm like, I never even thought about that. I don't know if that's a tip for any business owner out there. Maybe put your marketing or spend away from the team. Yeah. Because like I was not even thinking about it. I didn't for 1 second. And then I rocked up. I remember like it was just peak season. There was just stuff going everywhere. It might have been Christmas or something. It was just crazy.
Everyone's
chaos.
Crazy, yeah.
In the warehouse, and I've just been like, oh, this has been a good month, hasn't it? I'm just chilling. I'm just like, oh.
And you're talking about next month, and they're going, but we haven't even finished.
I walk into the business, and I'm literally going, January's going to drop off, February, so I'm coming with the strategic ideas for this, and you guys are like, we're just surviving. Claire was packing stuff yesterday. That's how scary it is.
Yeah, I know. I think that's a really good point, and you do have to. And we
Mm,
that often happens where you think, "Oh my God, they're so stressed. I need to go down and help." Like marketing, and I'm going, "You can't go down there because you've got to worry about next month." And
yeah.
we had this conversation the other day actually, and it's where marketing are asking for all this new innovation and they're looking and they want this and this, and George is saying, I want this, which is awesome because she's up to date on what's happening and really pushing. And then just our supply chain and operations saying we can't do that because of this, and then I could see George going, oh, this is annoying. And I said, don't stop the conversation, because you need to push and
Yeah.
balance it somehow. If you're not fighting, then we're not growing, or we're not doing
Yeah.
what we should do. If you're all
I
agreeing,
love that.
I'm worried about it. Yeah.
Wow, that's a really good point. If it was it, if you're all agreeing we're doing something wrong.
You're not pushing the envelope. You're not doing as well as you should be. You need to be. Marketing should be pushing. Operations should be saying, and then you come to a balance. Like everything, you push for what you want, and you'll come to what's the right thing in the business. We always say that, no, if you're not challenging each other and pushing it, then again you're back to that comfort. And if you're comfortable,
Yep.
then you may as well give up, because your competitors are going to kill you.
I definitely experienced that with the team. Like I remember I was kind of the only marketing guy for a
You're
while
always
there,
the
me
one
and Natalie.
pushing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was pushing, and then you guys hired a marketing person. I was like, oh, here we go. This person's from university, or I don't, like wherever Liz came from. And I'm just like, oh, here we go. I don't, because the thing is, I have no traditional background. I don't even know what do they teach at university? I don't even know.
No, me either.
Yeah. So she's come in, and then it's not like she's throwing her weight around. That's not who Liz is. But
No,
to me, it's
she's
like a
with
big
her.
throw your weight around when you limit anything that Ty does. I'm like, what are you doing? You trying to attack me?
Are you
You're replacing me?
listening?
Yeah. And then, but that taught me so much, like going up against someone it was like a fight battle, tension
Yeah,
between myself
and it's
and
a
Liz.
respectful battle, but it's respectful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the very start, I was like threatened in a way, but then halfway through, it was like, okay, hang on. No, this is super healthy because I can bounce stuff off her, and she's thinking long-term brandy kind of customer consumer, and I'm thinking, how do we pay all the wages this week? How do I get paid?
How do we
And how does
grow?
Eco keep smashing through goals? Which is not. It kind of takes two different brains to pull that off.
And longevity, you've got to have both, because you can't just go,
Definitely.
well, the drop shipping world, you can't just keep growing and taking money. The brand is everything. Like the brand and the integrity, it needs that balance. And Liz is spot on, but some of the discussions we'd have is like, well,
Oh, it's
I
tough.
know that's fine, but how are we going to hit this target?
Yeah.
But I think
The
the
first
balance.
conversation she had with me was, how are we going to spend less on Facebook ads? And I was like, what? That was the first one. I'm like, she knows Liz and I are best, we can talk, and we can talk this out now. We're awesome. But that was the first thing, and I'm like, oh man, this is going to get real dicey right now, because I want to triple our Facebook ad spend.
And I loved that you were challenging each other, because I
Yeah.
trusted you both. At the end of the day, we were going to end up with the right balance. You would have pushed it to the limit that needed, and Liz was always protecting the brand, and always the outcome was the right one. So, and that's key, having your team both perspectives. We can't all be the
Tension.
same. Yeah.
No, you don't want to hire just you over and
No.
over again.
No, you need all the people that have all the skills you don't have.
Yeah, awesome. Community is a huge part of eco, and I've brought this up with a fair few brands and all of the previous podcasts over this year. Pretty much the brands that are doing well right now are ones who did focus on community for the last 2 years, basically. And would you say eco? That's pretty much the exact same thing.
Yeah, totally agree. I think we're all the same. We want to belong somewhere. It's not about products. It's not about stuff. With what we're all going through, it's belonging and be part of something. And customers are so smart. They can see through stuff. If you're authentic and they want to be part of your community, they will. We're not selling to them anymore. It's they want to join the eco community.
And this is where one of the cool dynamics came in as well, because I knew that we needed to build community. In my head, I'm like, we need to build community because that's going to help longevity.
Yeah.
I can't build community. I need the marketing guys who really care, like they have this whole family ethos, like the the humanity behind eco had to come out throughout that community. And I was just more strategic, going,
Well,
do this
that's
because it
it.
makes X, Y, Z.
And that's a digital strategist. It's not just all growth, growth, growth. It's okay, how do we, what is the key now? And it's also looking at, customer behavior and journeys, what people are doing. And yeah, back to the pivot, but like it changes all the time. But that's what keeps it interesting. But that's the fundamentals, a community. We all know that's what we want to be a part of. So keep
Yeah,
that
totally.
community interesting, authentic, and honest.
I think a cool thing about eco is like we built community around a belief more than products. It's not just about we're not building community around essential oil. We're actually building community around health, wellness, vitality, and you guys do other cool stuff in there. Like you'll get like yoga instructors in, you'll get mindfulness people in there doing different things, and I just think that's so cool. Like that is the stuff that builds real community, not just shoving products down people's throats.
Yeah, and you do it because you love it and it's part of your world. I mean, you see in our product development what we do and what our team does, it's because that's what we love. We're really fortunate being on the coast with the beaches and the lifestyle we have here. We're really trying to, bring that to all of our customers. We don't just make stuff up.
Authenticity.
Yeah, yeah, it's how we live.
One other thing I want to touch base on, which is there's two things actually. So one that is like the scary word that you guys aren't afraid of is agencies. I know you don't really like it, but people avoid agencies like the plague in e-commerce. Like they're like, oh, it's the worst thing in the world. Never going to hire an agency to do anything. Now, I know Eco doesn't love agencies, the idea of having agencies, but you do use them. Can we talk through that?
Yeah, I don't.
What makes the decisions behind, like, why would you hire an agency to do anything?
Well, I guess for me, it's not the word agency, like, and I guess it's outsourcing, isn't it? So for me, it's the consultant is the word I hate. I don't like
Yeah.
consultants telling us what to do that don't give a shit about your customers or you. I hate a hierarchy where you talk to one person and then there's three people down that you don't talk to that actually does the real work. For us, it's always, we've recognized as we've grown, we don't have all the internal skills. You have to look external. We were lucky with you because you were never really an agency. You're always part of our eco family, internal. Since you haven't been with us full time, we've had to look more agency side. We're never going to have all the skills needed in e-commerce for a team our size, and I don't think you can build everything. It's always a balance, what's internal, what's external. What we do look for, and you can use the agency word, but it's just a team that's going to help eco achieve its goals. So our latest agency we love, and the reason we put them on, and they're now, I don't know whether you know, but they're actually not just doing Facebook, they're doing Google, everything, because they're not a
Awesome.
traditional agency.
We can tell them who it is. Dunk. Is it? It's still Dunk, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. I've interviewed Mark
we love
on the
Mark.
podcast too.
Yeah, he's amazing. And when we
Yeah.
were so scared because it was replacing something that you did, and we didn't like agency, but it was more about the consultative approach and not caring. But the things that we loved when we first put them on, they were down the road, so they're local. They could come in person. We said it's not just about doing Zooms and sending us reports. The other
Yeah.
thing was, like you, it wasn't just set and forget. E-commerce is not a set and forget business. It has to be watching, monitoring, changing, doing something new, caring, etc. So now, and they're literally down the road. Not only just down the road, they're about to move into the same street as us, which is even better.
Oh
But
wow.
yeah, but we meet in person, face to face once a week. We talk all the time. Our reporting's great. And, it's taken a while, but they're not, I've done this for, and the arrogance of an agency can sometimes be, I'm the expert, this is how we do it. They modified to our eco world. And when we first interviewed them, we were pretty harsh on some other ones we interviewed. And it's, God,
Oh
I
yeah.
can't even listen to some of the voices of people telling us who they were.
You
And
made me sit through some of those interviews, and you left. I'm pretty sure.
oh, they didn't even ask who we were, and there was so
Uh,
much. Yeah, but Dunk, and I'm not going to pitch them because we don't want them working with other people because they're
ah.
with us. But
I've already pitched him a few times.
yeah, and
And I
I
interviewed
would
Mark. He's a
too.
legend.
He is.
Yeah.
But it's not the agency; it's the
Yeah.
people. And if you look at the team that built that agency, Cormac, like he built a
Yeah.
team of people and why he wanted it a certain way, and it suits eco. So to me, it's not don't go agency, but just make sure you get the right people.
Yeah, I love that. Don't be afraid Don't be
Don't be
afraid to do
afraid
it.
because there's some really clever people out there. And at the end of the day, you can't do everything. If we didn't have some externals, we wouldn't be having the skills or achieve what we did. If we didn't go look for you, we wouldn't have a clue what to do. So recognize where you don't have the skills and you do need to look external.
Where did you find me?
Yeah, it was Jess. So Jess, who
Yeah.
was our marketing coordinator at the time, I think she was even part-time living in Sunny Coast. I said, I really like the idea of this e-com stuff, but we don't really know much about it. This Facebook stuff, she was trying and it was hard and she didn't know. And she said, well, I know someone that knows someone on the Sunny Coast. Like, okay, where is he? Who is he? And I said, I don't just want you to talk to him. Remember, I drove up. I said, I'm driving up. I need to see him and I need to listen for myself. So Nat and I drove up and met you at the coffee shop and your coffee shop. And you could see your entrepreneur. It was your coffee shop. You had those food trucks coming in. You were telling me about your business. And I'm going, oh, you're going to get why we need help. So, yeah. And then it started from there.
That's so funny. It's just serendipitous. I miracles all through my life, hey, and that was one of them. I sat down with someone, did a Facebook Live, and Jess randomly tuned into that Facebook Live. Then she reached out to me, and then I found Eco, and that's
Yeah.
where it went.
Well, everyone was talking about you up there, how there was this clever entrepreneur and he had all these cafes and yeah, and she said,
Who? What? No way.
yeah, that's what I just said. You need to talk to him. I'm going, okay, but I need to. And again, some of it has to be face to face. And it was good for
Yeah.
Nat and I driving up there and actually seeing you in the caf, and your family was there, and it was I'm going,
Yeah.
oh, you'll fit.
You guys are a face-to-face kind of interview person. I don't know. That's the culture you guys go for. Whenever you're doing something new, it's always face-to-face.
Yeah,
if
it's really
possible.
important. I think that's why COVID was really hard. And I'm sick to death
Yeah.
of all the Zooms and stuff like that.
Yeah. Hey, so I got to be a part of your world when it got tough with your partner passing away. And I wanted to touch base on that because that's real talk. And people face that kind of stuff as a business owner, employing staff. Can you speak a little bit about navigating that time? It was almost like a year where I knew that
Yeah.
Claire was dealing with things. Yeah, can you speak a little bit about that and that season and what it's taught you during it and then after as well?
Yeah, it was well, as you know, you knew the before and the after. It was horrendous. I guess that's where your clarity comes in and like why I am where I am at the moment. It's making sure your moments and the people you do business with, the people you spend every day with are important to you. Thank God I had my eco family through all that. My husband got diagnosed with cancer in January. Paul, he was very fit and healthy and he passed in September. So it was very fast, 6 months. Do you remember we were in that July in the middle of it? We were down at online retailer up for awards and at the ball and he was supposed to come down. He was too sick. He was in hospital. That's where it all became real. It was awful and I'm grateful that I had Eco and my Eco family and all my team
Yeah.
around me. And I think that's probably with that happening, I threw everything into Eco. He was so proud
Yeah.
of Eco too and he wanted it to be successful. So for me, it was making sure that was going to be successful. But I had a purpose. I could go somewhere every day. I had people looking out for me. And his message to me was also just life's short. So make sure
Yeah.
what you do, your impact you're having on people, community, environment is important. That's why I am where I am. So to me, the important thing is not just eco growth customers, it's having time for family. It's, I used to in those early days, all I did was travel for work. I didn't stop and play enough, but I don't do that anymore. Like I'm traveling, my daughter's going to Europe for 3 months. I'm going to spend 2 weeks in the middle with her. It's, you work hard for a reason and the money, the success, all that sort of stuff is not the important stuff. It's what you do with your day. And when you know that now, you with your beautiful young family, it's, that would be your everything.
Let's talk about the exit as well. So I only found this out today. So kind of going from that to, I guess, shift of mindset can you tell us who you exited to and I guess the strategic element to that, but then also was there some kind of mindset shifts from that season that we just talked about before that kind of sparked this and moved towards that direction?
So for me, eco for me is everything and it's still my family, it's my everyday and that's my passion. But with what happened with Paul and personal circumstances, it was I need security. I can't be just an entrepreneur living off the edge. I need to look after myself, and I need to make sure there's some security there for all the hard work. So I needed to know that was going to be okay. So I had the hard conversation with our other shareholders, and they were so excited with our growth, and they're going, no, it's too early, no, no, no. And I said, well, that's fine for you because you're investors and you're not in it day to day. This is what I want. And I pushed pretty hard. And exit's a word everyone uses, but I didn't want an exit. I needed financial security and some, for all the hard work to get out, and safety for the eco team and the customers. I knew we needed a strategic buyer that had more that they could offer to get eco to the next phase. Like I couldn't just keep, well, you know what I'm like, I'm given everything, and you need more energy, and your team needs new skills, new mentors, new infrastructure. So we were really lucky. So the reason I did it was because of what happened, and I knew it was going to take time.
Was it from that situation, from your partner and stuff? Yeah. Because I remember having conversations with you saying there's no strategy to exit. Like you've said that to me probably 3 times. And
Yeah,
like,
I used to have people ask all the time. I'm not interested.
I have no strategy.
I don't need money.
I'm going to do this forever.
Yeah, I don't need any help. But then when at the end of the day, I can't be everything all the time, and other things become important, and it was important to me that eco's longevity, I want around forever, so it needed time to find the right strategic partner. So to me it's not exiting because I'm still there, I'm still there every day building the team. We were so lucky to have a buyer come in. They're a massive family company from France. They own farms all over the world. They are well known for their essential oils producing. So the whole source to bottle, getting to the source, not having any middlemen. They do all of that. Everything's organic. Their beliefs are the same as eco. They were searching the world for a direct-to-consumer brand like us, and they don't have anything at this end of the world. So we're a perfect match. So, yeah, I feel blessed and lucky that we found them and it was a successful transaction. I feel even more grateful that I'm still the founder and the CEO leading the team, and they let me do what I think, but they're adding so much more value, like having that access to the farms. George is so excited because the next harvest in France of where we're going to be buying lavender, she better go on there and film it, and
wow,
it's a game changer. And Nat is, she was in San Fran last 2 weeks ago, talking to one of their other acquisitions that have these amazing aromatherapists and many, many B2B experience in this world. So the whole group is, I think we can own this whole space globally. And it's not a big corporate, like they're a big company with over 200 employees, but it's a private company. It's a family business. Like Philippe, the president, is Philippe, and he's one of the smartest, and he's entrepreneur, his family's entrepreneur. He's in COVID. He acquired us during COVID. He didn't even come over. He acquired a company in the US. Everything. He had this strategy of, I need farms, I need direct to consumer, I need, just so clever. And I can see it now. It's nearly 2 years ago, and I can see how it's all coming together. So for Nat, who's grown up at eco, gets opportunities to go globally and bring all that back to eco. And I guess that's what I always wanted, my team and eco to be better and be more. And wherever I am in that journey, I'm still a part of it, but eco is going to be forever, and it's going to be all over the world and continue to grow.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. Well done.
Thank you.
I haven't probably congratulated you yet because I didn't really know the full story, but that's so cool. I'm so glad that there was an epic outcome in the end.
Yeah, it really has been amazing. It's nice to talk about it now because we've lived with it for a couple of years. Everyone's especially when you're seeing what's happening in e-com, there's been all these acquisitions exiting, and it's not good for the brand or the customers. At least we can say now it's not new. It's 2 years in November, and we are all super excited. The group's exciting. It's so synergistic, and the fact that it happened in COVID, where like our presentations Nat and I were having, they're in masks in France while we're in, as an experience for what we went through, and we did it was a competitive process. We wanted the best buyer for eco for the future, and they were definitely the best, and I can honestly say it's been the best thing for eco, the team, for everybody. So excited to what's next. Good
Awesome.
interview, Nat, because superstar she is,
I will.
where she's grown up in eco and what now like a big corporation like that is seeing with, how awesome she is and what she can do for the group, but not only for the group, but bring that back to eco. So that makes me excited. It's pretty awesome for all of us.
That's so exciting. How's Eco going in 2023? It's a tough year
It's really a tough
for
year.
many.
You're back to community. Thank goodness we have our loyal customers and community. Everything that used to be a little bit easy is harder. I think it's a tough year for everybody. Money's tight. I think people want experience. They want to travel. They've been locked up. Things are tough. If they've got money, that's what they're going to do. They're not buying stuff. It's definitely a year of consolidation. It doesn't scare me, and leading at Eco, that's some of the team. They are scared about it because all they hear is their friends saying the mortgage, the rent, the inflation. I'm going, it's okay because I'm old. I've seen it before. We're going to be okay. But it's because we
Yep.
have our loyal customers. It's because of what Liz told us all those years ago. We need to make sure brand is king. We'll be okay. You've just got to button down, and because you've got people like me and Nat who come from accounting background, we can pivot in those boring ways quickly and everything will be
Yeah.
okay. And also the fact that we are part of a big group that supports, so things are, tough, but in this time, like this Biolands, Nats and I said to them, we really need to invest in an app. And they're going, yes, you do. Let's do it. And they put money in and said, we
Wow.
for the future. If we were alone and I would have had to, you know, take it off a mortgage or something, that would have been a really hard thing to do. But the fact that I
Yeah.
have that group that believes in what we say is the right thing to do, because an app is also about building that community and it's not all paid, and our customers want a better experience. So you can
Hmm.
see how that is better for eco in this 2023 time.
I've spoken to a lot of mentors and I guess, I don't know, people I've listened to on interviews and podcasts, entrepreneurs that have been around for quite a while. And well, since previous like recessions and big troubles that are happening in the world. And a lot of them say that it's the ones who advance through that, like that attack, rather than there's still obviously there's things you've got to pull back on and everything, but it's the ones who keep attacking and get through. They flourish like
Yeah.
crazy on the other side. And
Yeah.
that's
Do you remember when all the rules changed around privacy and it was like, oh my God, everyone's pulling out of
oh
Facebook
yeah.
ads, and
Yeah, iOS
I were like,
14, Facebook
this is the
ads.
time because there's less competition. They should be cheaper. And
Yep.
yeah, and you're right. You do need to cut in some areas, but you don't in the stuff that's going to make you grow. And it is a risk, but I think that's why entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial business will always do well. And the bigger ones, the bigger corporates, when things change and they're too slow to move and make decisions. We can do that. We're
Yep.
still at a size that it's like you can yell across the office, hey, Georgia, why don't we try this today? Or Nat says, this is what we're doing. And we're going, that's what we'll do.
Have the courage to say yes and
Yeah.
pivot through all the hard times and just
Don't
smash through like
be,
Claire does.
don't be scared to fail, because if you fail at stuff, you've learned something. We just say don't do it twice.
And if you do it twice, don't do it 3 times.
Yeah, if you do
Yeah.
it twice, then you can go.
Yeah. See ya.
Yeah, see ya.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Or if anyone wants to buy essential oils, Eco has the best range of essential oils and they are direct to farm.
Yeah, we definitely are. We've definitely got the whole thing now, which is pretty exciting. So yeah, stay tuned. It's a big year for us. It's our 14-year anniversary, which I was just saying to Ty before we got online.
Yeah.
But so we will be celebrating, and there'll be lots of new product innovation and parties and champagne. And you don't be a stranger, Ty. Come and visit us and bring your beautiful family.
I will. Thank you so much, Claire. This has been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.